Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 The Sith Lords, where we are going to have a little bit of a talkie on the Ebon Hawk episode. All our new friends or servants, or however you label them. Let us begin with our awesome assassin droid, HK-47, the legend himself. Hello, HK.
Query, is there someone that you need killed, Master?
I'm hoping so. We could do some questions first, though.
Statement. Ah, you wish to conduct an interrogation? Very well, proceed.
Interrogation, are you calling it that?
Statement. Oh, yes, Master. Pain is really the only reliable means by which truth may be obtained. Or so I choose to believe.
Yes, that is a flawed belief, but I can see where you're coming from. Still, this is not an interrogation. Honestly, I'm not even quite sure how to hurt a droid like you. Yet.
Statement. Very well, Master. But if you wish to be brutal and vicious about it, know that I am trained for such things. Do your worst.
Alright. Enough with the interrogation thing already. When I ask you a question, I mean I will ask you a question without torturing you first. It's too much effort. And as your master, I still expect the truth. The utter truth.
Statement. Master, I am no behavior droid, but it is obvious to me that you have serious ethical problems that will need to be treated at some point. Very well. Ask your questions. If you feel the need to make it an interrogation, however, do not restrain yourself. I would be saddened if you held back.
Okay. Why were you in the storage hold? Begin with that first.
Answer. I do not know, Master. It is curious that I was here, although this place does seem familiar. Extrapolation. Perhaps someone was already in the process of rebuilding me. It may be I was needed for some task.
Yes, so I heard from the little droid. Other questions then?
Statement. More questions. Wonderful.
He really has. HK really has developed new sarcasm programs in his behavioral core, it seems. For a sophisticated assassin droid, as you say, a superior model, you don't seem as advanced as you should be.
Statement. Master, you wound me. Not physically, but in my behavior core. It is true that I once possessed many more protocols and upgrades, but time and damage has taken its toll. And I am afraid that I have a rather long history of memory problems, which has also compromised my effectiveness as well. Still, you will find me a valuable asset,
Awesome.
Master, willing and able to terminate anything you point me towards.
Yeah, that is useful. One thing I noticed, I really like this, if you compare, I've been playing the Old Republic a bit, and if you compare, I like this HK model's head a lot more than the one in that game. They kind of merged together like the whole jaw thing, the vocabulator in the front with the rest of his head. And I kind of like that it's kind of like a separate hanging thing here. Makes him look a bit more alien and mechanical in design. Not so much just a human with a faceplate.
Statement. More questions. Wonderful.
So tell me of your previous master.
Answer. Master, ironically enough, I seem to have developed a sudden bout of memory loss. I shall struggle to recall an answer to your question, but for now, it is sadly beyond my capabilities. Consolation.
So you
Besides,
say.
you are a fine master. Do not be worried about being rendered insignificant if I were to inadvertently compare to some silly old master I once possessed.
How cheerful. Alright, more questions.
Statement. More questions. Wonderful.
So let's see what else. Do you know anything of the Sith that are hunting us?
Answer: no, Master, I do not. I am afraid I have been out of touch with the Sith for many years. This new Sith threat fights differently than the ones I was familiar with. These seem to favor stealth and assassination to achieve their ends.
Do you have any idea where they might be striking from? What their base is?
Answer: no, Master. The Sith had many hidden bases and strongholds before and during the Jedi Civil War, and I doubt the Republic found them all. Theory: it is possible that the Sith still hold one such base, if not several. Consolation: but I would not worry, Master. I imagine it will not be long before their murderous hands try to seize you by the throat. Twi'lek
I'd
metaphor.
like to...
Jonta bosi likita masisoringada untamiasa grawino roto.
Huh. Yeah, I suppose you can say that again.
Query: Master, excuse me, but how is it you know so many languages?
Actually, I picked up a sonic imprint sensor on Paragus. It serves as a translator of sorts.
Query: may I see it?
Very well. Here you go.
Observation: this is indeed familiar. Indeed, it seems to be modeled after my vocabulator, with some modifications, of course. Curious. You say you obtained this device on Paragus.
Yes, shortly before the whole planet wasn't destroyed.
Observation: Master, I do believe this device serves multiple functions, including tracking your position for any HK units in the vicinity.
So this thing is a beacon, then? What they've been using to track me? And we should destroy it, shouldn't we?
Objection. Master, they do not know we have discovered it, which means the advantage is ours. Statement: I suspect when the time is right, this device can be used to pinpoint the location of the HK factory, and we can deal with them once and for all.
Oh, so that is a good idea. So we just wait then?
Answer: Master, the nature of the signal from the sonic imprint sensor is such that we must wait until it is signaled. It does not please me any more than it does you, but one of the primary traits of an assassin or assassin droid is patience.
Very wise then, all right. Another question.
Statement. More questions. Wonderful.
So, let us talk about the other HK units that are after us.
Statement. Yes. Them. Very well. What did you wish to know?
Not a pleasant subject for HK, it seems. You sound pretty disgusted by these duplicates.
Answer. My feelings on the matter are something that I feel I must put in proper context, in a way that even a meatbag such as yourself could easily comprehend. Theory. Imagine, if you will, that you are unique, the pinnacle of an exiled, cast-out Jedi who can't even use the Force. Imagine that no one has sunk lower than you, that you are truly the most miserable example of a Jedi ever.
This better be going somewhere, HK.
Continuation. Now that you have that image, imagine this. Someone clones you. Badly, I might add. They make the clones talk differently, rob you of any shred of personality, and take your Jedi code and adjust it, so that it is not really the Jedi code anymore.
Well,
they even change your pigmentation to a rather poor shade of Durasteel, rather than the proper rusty red that inspires fear in targets. And of course, they refer to meat bags as organics. Unacceptable.
Right, so they are cheap imitations of you, and they wound your pride. So that explains your anger then, I guess.
Clarification. Anger would be an understatement for the heat that builds up in my behavior core when these cheap imitations make their presence felt throughout the galaxy. Statement. Part of the indignity of all these copies is that they impair my ability to perform my function. The more people throughout the galaxy recognize me as an illegal assassination device, the more difficulty I will have in carrying out my mission.
Aha, well that is actually a very practical thought. Well thought out, HK. I'd like to know more of these clones of yours then.
Statement. What of them?
Do you know why they're still hunting me even after we've ended KotOR's bounty?
Answer. Well, Master, it seems you have become a popular individual in the galaxy. This is somewhat surprising to me, since this dissemination of information could not have been caused by your actions alone.
What do you mean exactly?
Statement. Master, there is mention of you specifically in the KotOR databases, even in public terminals on Coruscant. Observation. I was led to believe that this information concerning Jedi was not for public consumption, yet somehow it has been made known to them.
So someone has been spreading this information about me on purpose. Why?
Conclusion. Someone wants everyone to know that you exist, Master, and that you are back in Republic space. If I did not know better, which is computationally impossible, I believe that someone wants to make you a target, and they are succeeding admirably.
So, someone other than KotOR then, I assume?
Answer. Master, my feeling would be the exchange. But that doesn't seem to be enough to answer the question, however.
Yes.
Rhetorical. Why wouldn't they have simply kept the information to themselves? Such an answer does not address the central question. And that is, why someone would choose to broadcast your location all over the known galaxy. Theory. My suspicion is that someone is using you as bait for a larger target, who is unknown at this time.
So, that might be the Jedi. If this is one of KotOR's tricks, well, I'll make sure his little plans will come tumbling down and crumbling down rather spectacularly into his guts. Anyway, other questions?
Statement. Ah, yes, them. Very well. What did you wish to know?
Right, so why are they exactly are they all masquerading as protocol droids and acting so weirdly?
Answer. Master, as part of my original programming, I am able to communicate in over 600 languages. This usually amounted to short verbal warnings when killing non-basic speaking targets, which gave me some small measure of satisfaction.
So you're saying that a good portion of your programming may have been adapted from protocol subroutines?
Answer. Yes. I believe my original master needed this functionality in order to recover information from various indigenous tribes across the galaxy, but I know little else than that. Suffice to say that that translation capability allowed these copies of myself to assume the role of protocol and translation droids in much of known space. That is, of course, not their primary function. And while they are attempting to pass themselves off as translation droids, their primary functionality keeps rising to the forefront.
Explain yourself.
Recitation. For example, on Praven Prime, the simple transferring of Elzing syntax for friendship changes its meaning and implies that one's broodmate was actually impregnated by their own host.
That wasn't said to them directly, was it?
Confirmation. Oh, truly, you can imagine the results. Statement. This comment, of course, caused a civil war between the Guvandi Collective and Elzing that still persists to the current date.
Well, you seem to have caught up very much on local or galactic affairs. Very impressive. I suppose that's light speed connections to the HoloNet for you. So why are these HKs masquerading further as protocol droids though?
Answer. Master, being a meatbag, your answer does not surprise me. You see, part of the reason an assassin droid is so effective is because it is a droid. Meatbags tend not to notice us. We are treated as furnishings. Statement. Oh, do shut up, you beeping little trash compactor. Anyway, as I was saying, droids tend to blend into the background, like a bench or a card table. Mockery. Droid, fetch this. Droid, translate that. Droid, clean out the trash compactor.
You seem to be a little bit resentful of this position of droids. That is worrying. Those are typical droid functions, but it doesn't mean that they all need to be treated as furniture.
Part of the love of my function comes when the furnishings pull out Tabana-powered rifles and point them at the owner's heads.
Okay,
My
I guess
identity
that
as
is
an assassin
humorous.
droid was unknown for quite some time, even during the recent events when all that trouble occurred amongst the Jedi. I'm sure you've already heard more than enough about it, so I will spare you the details.
Actually, I'd like to know more of that. It seems important somehow.
Statement. This story may be somewhat unfamiliar to you, if not to history, so bear with me. There is a faction of meatbags called the Sith. They want what any rational meatbag would want. The power to assassinate anyone they choose at any time. In a startling turn of events, the Sith declared war on the Republic. The Republic wasn't going to stand for it, so they went to war right back.
Yes, that's an interesting way to phrasing that whole conflict. And why did Sith go to war with the Republic then, besides to just assassinate them whenever they wanted?
Answer. Oh, who knows, Master? It is evident that the Sith would very much like to assassinate all the Jedi, which is somewhat the equivalent of cultural suicide since some Sith are Jedi or were Jedi. It is much like the circumstance I find myself in now. How do you kill such an integral part of yourself over such ethical differences? The answer, of course, is that you keep firing until all dissension has been eradicated.
Yeah, that's a simplistic answer, but I suppose it's effective for you. Back to the droids though. How do these droids corrupt their protocol for programming?
Recitation. For example, on Praven Prime, the simple
Oh, we already have
wasn't
this.
said.
statement.
Will this be a repeat? I don't know.
Answer.
Yeah,
You
this
see,
is a repeat. Okay.
Any part I'm
Okay. Let's skip that. I think we are done for the moment, HK, so no more questions. Farewell, HK. We did learn something. Right, let's go to the other droids new to our group. KotOR.
Yes. Is there something you have come to offer me?
Considering I saved you and did not turn you completely into scrap, you should be more grateful.
The fact we are even having a conversation is gratitude. Usually, my conversations do not have the give and take that our current interaction does. And of course, there is much more screaming on the part of the listener when the torture field is activated.
Questions then. I am the one doing the no, not the torturing, the questioning now.
I am willing to indulge some of your questions.
On the yacht you mentioned Revan, but Revan sought to destroy the Republic, yet you want to save it. How do those align?
A common misconception not supported by facts.
You like saying
Revan
that,
did
don't
not
you?
intend to destroy the Republic. She deliberately left the infrastructure of many planets intact, and many military production facilities.
That is inconsistent with the fleet she had at her disposal.
I believe that by whatever means she used to build her armada, she recognized that it was somehow a limited source, or that she was only willing to use it to a point. My prediction is that whatever production facility was being employed, it carried a price that Revan perceived as detrimental to the goals of the Sith. And that is why Revan left many military production facilities in the Republic intact.
But why? Revan would need to conquer anything else once the Republic was completely crushed.
That is what occupies my calculations as well. I believe that Revan saw a war on another front that we did not, or saw the value in keeping a strong military force.
Suppression, perhaps? What about Malak once he took over?
Unlike Revan, Malak demonstrated no concern for the future of the Republic in his attacks. His stratagems were painfully obvious, intending to crush all resistance everywhere. There was little thought beyond the complete destruction of anything that opposed him. He left quite a mess. I'm still trying to assess all the damage. Between the two, I would have preferred Revan rule the galaxy. She had foresight in her conquest, a subtlety that Malak did not possess.
Do you know where Revan got her forces then?
That is also a mystery to me. I do not have any evidence upon which to build an answer. It is significant that after the defeat of Malak, the forces decreased considerably, and after Revan's departure from known space, production ceased completely. It is my prediction that whatever was producing such forces needed a strong, effective leader to ensure its stability. Without Revan or Malak, there was no such figure left among the Sith.
Slave colony, perhaps? Other questions?
You may speak.
Do you know anything of the HK you droids sent after me? Are they all working for you still?
The assassin droids. I have encountered some, purchased the service of others.
So, are you the reason they are hunting me?
Why, I asked them to. To be honest, I believe that was always their intention, but it seems their directive was dormant for some time.
So where are they coming from? You might know.
If you mean produced, no, I do not. I do know that there are a surprising number scattered throughout the Republic fleet searching for you. What they will do now that you are found is easy to predict.
You mean they're all going to come after me, then?
Of course they are. They're droids with very specific protocols that, unless changed, will dictate their movements. Unless you shut them down at the source, they will be stalking you until you are captured or terminated. Why don't you ask their predecessor? That archaic, memory-impaired assassination droid will know more about his subsequent generations than I would.
Well, you did employ them. So, what have you observed them doing in the Republic fleet?
They are masquerading as protocol droids. I have discovered that when they are used in negotiations, they have a predictable pattern of sabotaging whatever peace treaties they are involved with.
And why doesn't the Republic figure that little stunt out rather swiftly?
Because the Republic has no reason to investigate otherwise. And any discovery of their true purpose has been concealed by well-timed accidents.
And you haven't acted upon this information?
Because their behavior is predictable, of course. By monitoring their presence, I know which worlds will suffer civil wars, planetary conflicts, and Republic bombardment.
Clever, I suppose.
I am willing to indulge some of your questions.
So where's your base of operations then, if it's not here? Or your yacht? Where is it?
Now, that would be telling. For now, my presence must remain a secret, and it may remain that way forever.
Very well, other questions then. I knew you wouldn't give that up.
You may speak.
On to your plans then. You wanted to save the Republic. What must be done?
There are several factors, all of which affect each other. There is the stabilization of Dantooine, the preservation of the restoration efforts on Telos, the political resolution on Onderon, and the unification of a religious power base in the galaxy, either Jedi or Sith.
Maybe if you pay me, I can take care of all those things, one system at a time.
The destruction of my yacht and of all my activities on Nar Shaddaa carry a cost that would take you several lifetimes to pay back. But perhaps the offer of credits will spur you to act quicker, more decisively. I am not unsympathetic to such greed. For every system you stabilize, I will reward you for your efforts.
Very well. If you have the credits, that's all I needed to hear.
See that you do not disappoint me.
So, yeah, I guess, well, I think we'll leave the tasks for a future episode. Hooray, dark side points. Anyways, yes, this was a lot of talking to our robot friends. Next episode, I think we'll have some more crew to catch up on. We still have Hanhart to speak word with, and I'm sure Kreia and the other ladies and gentlemen of the ship will need some words. So I think we'll have another talky episode in the next one, and then maybe I'll even release 2 of them at the same time. Who knows? And then, yeah, more adventure hopefully soon. Till then,